Well, howdy, howdy, hi, everybody. Welcome to the next video in the Great Britain battleship line, the Tier 7 King George V. Just picked it up, did a little bit looking at it, and it's not much of an upgrade from the Tier 7 Queen Elizabeth. In fact, you're likely to be a little unimpressed with the ship if you've gone through the Queen Elizabeth. Depending on your play style, you might like the King George a little bit better or a little bit less. But there won't be a vast change. The numbers just aren't there. But I'm going to show you how they are different. If I don't, otherwise consider them pretty much the same. I have gone ahead and done some upgrades. You'll notice it's 356 millimeter guns, 10 of them in total. When you go back and look at the Queen Elizabeth, 381. So the Tier 7 ship, the Queen Elizabeth, has got bigger guns than the Tier 8. Curious. Let's see what other changes there are. A reload time of 30 seconds. Turret rotation 56.3. Maximum dispersion 197. Okay. Look at the King George. Reload time 25. 180 degree turret time 38.3. Dispersion is a bit bigger. So it shoots faster. And it turns faster on the turrets. Just smaller guns. Okay. You'll have to consider how that jibes in with your play style. I don't know if you noticed it, but the high explosive likelihood of starting a fire is really impressive on the King George. You can see the damage on the Queen Elizabeth. Now AA on the Queen Elizabeth, you can see in the other videos, it's not bad at all. Not bad at all, but when you go to the AA on the King George, it's like, are you serious? It's not better. It's worse. Okay. Let's talk maneuverability and speed. 28 knots. Now that is upgraded. It's 26 otherwise. Turning circle 790. Rudder shift 12. All right. It's faster than the Queen Elizabeth at 23.5. Rudder shift is about the same. It's within a second or so. But if you look at the hull, you can see the hit points there, the AA, etc. That's the B hull. The A hull, you'll lose about 6,600 in HP, which actually is a lot if you're going against another battleship, but not much if you're going against a destroyer. So it kind of depends on who's shooting at you. If it's another battleship, they're going to punch out 6,600 in damage pretty quick. Destroyer, not so much. I also went with something I don't do often, the main battery firing range increase, because quite frankly at long range you're kind of spray and pray, hope you get something. But you do get better dispersion at medium range. And then of course the upgraded engines, 28. Bone stock is 26.6, which really is not impressive at all for a Tier 7 battleship. Upgrades, I went with Spotting Aircraft 1, and I outfitted the ship expecting that I would be firing at longer ranges. After all, these are smaller guns. I don't really want to press in close in the kind of battles you're going to meet when you're in a Tier 7 battleship. I want to hold back just a bit. If I get too close, I'll be going up against Tier 9s, and they, quite honestly, if I get broadside to them, they're going to shred me. So I'm going to have to be careful if I'm in a King George. For the second slot, this is a no-brainer. Damage Control System Mod 1. The only way you're going to lose propulsion and steering gears is if you take a torpedo in the rear end, and that's not going to happen but once in a blue moon, or if your name is Bismarck. In the third slot, I chose to go with Aiming Mod 1 to help firm up my dispersion. Remember, you're going to be going up against Tier 9s. You're going to want to keep some distance. So anything that can help your accuracy, for me at least, that was the way to go. Excuse me. Main Bad Mod 2 was also something I considered. In the next slot, you can see the Propulsion Mod 2 is quite nice, especially when you're in a lumbering hulk like this, because it cuts down the length of time it takes to get up to full power by 50%. And that's pretty damned impressive. Especially if you're going to use the islands. If that's your play style, to use those islands as cover, you might want to use Propulsion Mod 2. It complements your play style quite well. But for me, I have bad luck with islands, so I'll use the rudder. And that's why Steering Gears Mod 2 is what I selected. You select whatever works for you in your play style. Whoops, hold on a minute. What was I thinking? Much better. All right. So, let's take a look at what I did with the captain. Got a 6-point. I went with endurance. I usually do. I like to know how many enemies are targeting me at any one time. And that's what it can do for me. That tells me when to get on that rudder. I also went with Expert Marksman. That would help my turret rotation. If I'm on the rudder a lot, and I am, then that's something I need. Face it, these are not destroyer or cruiser main guns. These are battleship main guns. They weigh a lot and they move slow. Not nearly as bad as the Queen Elizabeth. Not nearly. But still, 38 seconds is still pretty slow. And I went with, of course, Basics of Survivability. That's an all-around real benefit if you're in a ship that gets hit a lot, and battleships get hit a lot. Alright, let's take a look at our modules here. Next here, I'm going to get it ready for battle. But I want to take a moment to tell you about this ship. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but when I was going over the artillery numbers, this ship has insanely great high explosive shells. They do a lot of damage, and there's a 41% chance of starting fires on enemy per shell when you fire this thing off. So if you use that to your advantage, you can start a fire on an enemy ship, they'll put it out, and if you start another fire, they cannot put it out, at least not for a while. And that will seriously eat up their health pool. Now, you do that to a whole bunch of ships, and the effects are not immediate early game. But after a few minutes, and those ships have had their health whittled down, all of a sudden, late in the game, the enemy starts dying off very suddenly. And that can change the tide of a battle real quick. It's also exciting gameplay when things like that happen. So I'm going to go ahead and give it some camo here. Going to give it some signals. That's a good one if you're in a battleship. Yep, cost savings. Yeah, a little extra commander XP. Well, maybe didn't have to do that. Okay, there it is. 41% chance of starting a fire, with an HE shell good hit doing 6,100 points. Take a look at the AP damage. Excuse me. That's really good damage, but only if you've got a primo shot lined up against an enemy cruiser or enemy battleship. Otherwise, HE is gonna be the way to go unless you've already set the enemy on fire from stem to stern. The only thing you can do with HE then is damage their anti-aircraft or maybe their secondaries, or just generally piss them off, be a nuisance. So I'm going to go ahead and boost the HE damage capabilities, and that took it all the way to 43% per shell. 43% chance of starting a fire. That's that's almost as good as the USS Texas. That's a one-off on the US battleship line. Texas has unbelievable high explosive, and no other American ship has it. But for the Brits, they just got awesome HE. They always have. They've also got awesome repair parties. Now, the battle I'm going to show you, first ever battle I ever had in the darn thing. And it's going to show off some of the strengths and some of the weaknesses. It's not an exciting battle. Battleship battles are not that exciting in the first place. They're a little slow. But you will get to see how this thing can perform, and what it can do, and how it can get hurt. You've all seen this map before. Excuse me. I'm recovering from a cold, so my throat's a little thrashed. Alright, let's zip ahead a bit in the video. So I'm going to head off in between B and C. That way, if I have to fall back to C, I've got islands to do it and I've got room to do it. But if I need to push into B, I'm in a good position to do it. I've also got a couple of friends in front of me who can spot for me. Let me zip ahead a bit in the video. And a bit more. Okay, I see ya. And a bit more. So I just decided to give this guy a right away. Excuse me. Okay, that cleared it out. Alright, so targets of opportunity. I went ahead and let fly just to see if I could get lucky. Just one shot, and I missed. First shot of my brand new ship, and I missed. Well, that's typical. I gave him a 20-second lead, and that's a little bit much. And wouldn't you know it, his engines just went out. So that's too much lead again. Maybe that'll hit him. Okay, that should have hit him. Alright, well, I know there's a cruiser coming in there, but I got time to take this shot. %chance. Oh my gosh. That's just dispersion going against me. Finally. Nope, still can't get them. Hey, finally. Started a fire. I think he put it out. That means if I start another one, he's hosed. 6,000 damage, but no fire. Darn it! Ooh, careful. I could roast a marshmallow on that one. Oh, this is too good. He's backing away from an island. Thank you. Started a fire. Haha! Ah, rats. Can't get him. Uh-oh. Well, I'm very well angled. You can tell here. But look at that. Did you see that damage? I was well angled, and that Iron Duke hurt me. So, for those of you who use islands, more power to you. You're going to do better at this than I am. Let's see if I can hurt this guy. Got my spotter plane up. They're using the islands. Started a fire. Right on. If you look at the mini-map, you'll see I'm about to have a very target-rich environment. Okay. Let's see if I can get another fire going on this guy. Ha! 2 of them! 2 fires. Right on. Oh. 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 Oh, how juicy. Ah, rats. I was looking forward to taking some of those guys down. Maybe this guy. Ha! You're gone. Now that battleship, that Iron Duke, he's on the other side of that island. Over here, he can't get me, so I'm safe for the moment. But from the damage I took, you should get the idea. You don't want to push in close with this ship. Ha! Another fire. Ha ha! That might do him in. He can't put it out. Oh, he's moving. He's out of there. Will I get to finish him off? Will I get to finish him off? I don't think so. I'm gonna try. Oh yeah. Goodbye. Now I put the ship into reverse. I know that Iron Duke is gonna be visible very soon. I just don't want to be in his sights. Not if I don't have to be. Oh, I think somebody got him. Yeah, he's gone. Alright, so I might as well try and turn to port. Sorry, starboard, right. And I can capture sea cap and have my guns to bear as those 2 enemy ships come out from behind that island. You can see the turrets. Even though they're much faster than the Queen Elizabeth, they're still pretty darn slow. Can you imagine how slow they'd be without the captain's skill? Now here, if I were thinking, I would have loaded AP, because he's ideal for an AP salvo. But instead, I'm getting intent on burning things down. I thought he'd be gone with those torps. Uh-oh, they're both aiming at me. Oh, this guy's burning down. Should have used AP, he'd be gone right about now. But no. Yep, he's gone. Rats. If he had lived another second, I would have gotten that kill. Well, now it's just prolonging the inevitable. Let's zip ahead a bit in the video. And a bit more. And he's gone. So you can see that the King George, um, it's really not much of a jump up from the Queen Elizabeth, but if you've got the right play style, this ship will be more fun. For me, it's a push. I like some of it. I don't care for some of it. Didn't do so well in the point standings. You can see what I did there for damage. A little over 2,000 in experience. Oh, got a point. Isn't that bad for this battle? But look at the silver. If I had been in the Queen Elizabeth, that number would be doubled. This ship is a lot more expensive to run. Hey, got a container. I'll take it. I'll go resources this time. You can get a lot of cool stuff with these resources. Nice symbol. Cleveland. Yeah, that's right. I'm collecting those. The Cleveland class cruiser stuff. Anyway, you've seen the ship. You know what it can do. And if it matches your playstyle better, you'll definitely want to jump on that as opposed to the Queen Elizabeth. It all depends on your playstyle. It's not a terrible ship, but it's definitely not a wonderful jump in performance either. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have fun.